everybody. Welcome to the Cosplay Cafe. I'm your barista, Andrea. I am doing the intro for the first time today, so if it's a little rambly, I apologize. But tonight we're going to be talking sci-fi cosplay. We're going to discuss if Star Wars counts as sci-fi. So we're going to roll our credits and we're going to bring in my co-hosts and our guests. Credit time. All right, so I'm going to first bring in my amazing, lovely, talented, fantastic, everything possible, positive, adjective co-host, Kelly of the Phoenix Sisters.
I'm blushing. Hi, Andrea. You did great with the intro. Thank you for covering that.
All good. And you know I'm always going to pump you up with any amount of positive adjectives I possibly can.
Oh, thank you. And so Curly can't be with us tonight, but we do have a special guest. He's our friend Charlie. He is amazing. He's got a lot of sci-fi cosplay, so obviously it was a good fit for this episode. Charlie is probably the biggest Star Trek fan I know. And he is super knowledgeable, super talented. He's got a great energy. You all are going to love him. So welcome, Charlie.
Oh my goodness. All that about me? Good evening.
Of course. That's how we do it here, sir.
I guess. Very good. Well, no, thank you for having me on. This is great. I love what you guys got going on. So it's cool.
Oh, thank you.
It's a mutual patting on the backs over here.
Yes. Both hands.
That is what we do here.
Macarena. There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
You know, if you come in with concerns about if you're good enough, we'll definitely inflate the ego by the end of it.
That is
everybody enjoys that. Everybody should if they're being honest about it. I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong.
As cosplayers, we might say we don't need the attention, but we do like it.
Right. It's true. I agree.
It's very true.
I'm pretty sure if we don't get attention as cosplayers, like plants, we would wither up and die, actually.
Right.
Probably.
It's the sun.
It's the whole clap if you believe in fairies. So give us attention or we'll die and we'll just cosplayers.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That's how it be.
So we already have a few viewer comments because our viewers are awesome. So cool. Ryan says, hello, everyone. He says, how are you? Andrea, Jin Urso cosplay is great. Rogue One is a great film. I agree. I love Rogue One.
It is probably one of my favorite Star Wars films of all the Star Wars films. So I need to get the rest of my 3D printed pieces from my friend so I can finally update this costume after 5.5 years. But hey,
yay.
Awesome.
It's still around.
So you jumped on right when the film came out with it. So
I literally made the costume for the Star Wars Celebration 2017. Movie came out, the Christmas of 2016. The DVD came out like right after I finished making it. And of course, there were no costume references. So
why would there be?
I get the cool prop.
Yeah.
I get the.
Ooh, I do have.
Once again, thank you to our amazing theme song writer who also makes props, King Duffy, my friend Dwayne. He made my blaster.
I do
love the guy for it.
Of those, because I have a few Star Wars cosplays myself. I am on a bi-weekly Star Wars podcast, so I do cross the aisle. In addition to the Star Trek podcast, which I run on the opposing week, which is my show. I'm a co-host on one that my friend Mark, who lives in Nova Scotia, Canada.
And what are the names of those shows so people know where to find them?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. We're the Secret Friends podcast network. We have 4 different shows. The Holocron Chronicles would be the Star Wars podcast I was talking about. Code 47 is our Star Trek podcast. That's my program. Mark, who I was talking about, and my best friend Todd, my college roommate who kicked it all off. They do our video game podcast, which is called The Co-op Mode. And my college roommate Todd and I, who started this deal 8 years ago, do what we call Secret Friends Unite Prime, which is your a la carte geek media. It's everything but video games because I'm not much of a gamer. But yeah, comics and movies and TV shows, and that comes out every Tuesday. And Kelly will actually be recording with us this weekend.
Yes,
and has been on the show before. Yeah.
And
So,
I agreed
but-
last time, and I'm excited for this time. And
This is a rare experience for me being live. So, you may see a cat flying or something crazy going on. I don't know.
I already explained to Charlie that I had to lock the 4 cats out because there's a Christmas tree to my right now, and y'all would just hear rustling ornaments if I let the 4 boys in here. So,
Right.
yeah.
And if it was behind you, they'd be dinging. They'd be trying to look and see if you're paying
no,
attention.
there's just a big old mirror back there and a fire.
Oh, gotcha.
So.
I agree. So Ryan says, yay, you can like both. Way to go. I
Yes.
was going to make that point. You know what? Star Trek and Star Wars, you don't have to pick a side. There was
I feel like that was started like by people who didn't like either to try and make them like the fandoms fight, because I know so many people since I was a kid that love both. And they're always like, I don't know where this animosity started.
I find it to be one of the most, because people will come up to me with, my wife and I also run a huge chapter of the Star Trek fan club, and we do Comic-Cons. We had a huge one here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I lived just a few weeks ago. People think they're so clever if they roll up on us at Star Trek. Well, I'm more of a Star Wars guy. There's no connection between, the only connection that exists between the two is the fact that Star Trek was on in the 1960s. George Lucas watched it, liked it, combined it with ideas he had. Star Trek got canceled, was off the air. Star Wars came out, changed movie going forever. The people at Paramount said, we probably ought to make a movie or something. They did revise the Star Trek franchise. They're symbiotic, not parasitic. And to compare them is illogical. Sorry, I'm going right out there and say it. No, there's no comparison. Star Trek, science fiction, based in morality plays and traveling and helping people, and Star Wars is pew pew lasers and space wizards. So
Yeah, my brother and I
where's the
argue
conflict?
Like, we argue that Star Wars is more science fantasy, whereas
Absolutely.
Star Trek is science fiction because it is more based in the science and the fiction, whereas, like you said, space wizards. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's not established space wizards in Star Trek, so they kind of stay in their own lane.
Yeah.
People see the star or the space part of it, and they're like, "Ooh, well, you can't really." It's kind of silly.
It's like you have the people outside of comics that say you can't like DC if you like Marvel, but you can like all of them.
Why
Jokes on them. I like them both.
Why limit yourself when you can enjoy it all?
And just this theory of kind of this invented competition that means nothing to anyone. If something is good, you enjoy it. If something is not good to you personally, somebody else likes it. The old expression, don't yuck someone else's yum. That's a basic tenet of everything we do on Secret Friends, is that I don't tolerate what I call militant fanboyism. Well, if you don't like Firefly, you're an idiot. If you don't like Farscape, you don't have 3 brain cells in your head. If you don't like I don't really care about Lord of the Rings, or I don't really do Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think there's anything missing from my life because I don't enjoy those things. But people who dig them, people who do D&D matches every week and have a big club and whatever it is, that's awesome. Enjoy it. But yeah, my not enjoying it doesn't mean that I don't care that you do. So
Yeah,
it's just
like
yeah.
the one time we had fun with it is the priest that did my brother and his sisters and my sister-in-law's wedding. He was a big Trekkie, and of course we're more Star Wars. So when he did the wedding, he started the homily at their wedding a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But he ended it on "Live long and prosper." So,
well, there you go.
That is the perfect marriage of the two. See what I did there?
we enjoy them, and I thought it was so fun that he was like, "I'm going to use yours, but I'm going to sneak mine in there too." So, and it got a good laugh out of everybody.
As we say in the Catholic Church, may the force be with you. And also with you.
Well, now as a Catholic and with your spirit. So.
And with your spirit. Yeah, boy, and I'm not an avid churchgoer, but after a break going back and figuring out that they decided to change the process, that maybe that's why I don't go back anymore. I'm like, just quit changing it. Stick with stick with the greatest hits.
Yeah, no, one of like, because I am Catholic, I was raised Catholic, I still attend a Catholic church with my mom, but one of our priests currently, he was showing me video of a man that dresses as a Starfleet chaplain who is a Catholic priest. And he's like, do you think we could, I'm like, Father Dennis, do you want to be a Starfleet chaplain? He's like, yes.
Oh my goodness. With the International Fan Club, of which I am a regional director here in Michigan and Eastern Canada, there are roles like that. So, you should probably put him in touch. I'd probably help him meet somebody down there.
Oh, he would love it. Because, I mean, he likes to make references to that and to comic books. And I love that he's a Catholic priest who does not shy away from also enjoying Rick Riordan's books about Greek mythology. So.
Yeah,
that's good. You see, and I've been in a position like this. It's just important to be able to connect with people. And it's tough to do that if you can't have an open mind. I mean, it's true of everything, isn't it?
It's cool to see people be able to put one thing into relation with another. And we nerds got to stick together anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's a cold world. It's funny, when I was in high school, almost 30 years ago, I was pretty much the same kind of, like everything you see here. That has always been my personality. Yes. Was not cool. Girls wouldn't touch me with the 10-foot pole. Spent a lot of nights. My wife and I live in the house I grew up in. So my home office is now my childhood bedroom. I spent a lot of nights in there, a lot of Friday nights there, listening to my music and reading my Star Trek novels and my comics and just being lonely. Now those are the popular kids. I tell you, born in the wrong time.
Yeah, in high school, I was picked on for being the nerd for liking comics and Star Wars and anime. And, my oldest brother goes, man, if we were in high school now, we'd be the coolest kids there. I was like,
I know.
We weren't picked on, but we weren't the cool kids either. So.
Right. Well, we get to enjoy it as adults, though, which means, if we see something that we want to buy, we have money and we have access, we have a car to drive around and stuff. So we can still be the geeks we've always been, the nerds we've always been, but we get to enjoy it by doing stuff like this. My podcast.
There are the perks to being the adult fan.
Yes, exactly.
And we have more comments, so we have a lot of comments. So
I know I'm a talker. I'm sorry, I'm podcasting.
No, do not apologize. That's a good thing.
You put Charlie a talker. You put me a talker.
Derek is lurking spicily tonight. So hello, Derek.
Lurking spicily.
First of all, he says Rogue One is in his top 3, and he also
says
here. Star Wars is pure fantasy, only with the setting that is more traditionally sci-fi. He fights anyone on that. So
he's right. He's right.
That was going to be our question to the audience. Was so Star Wars is not really science fiction. So how do you classify it? Which that's kind of how I would say too.
Yeah.
I mean,
fantasy
especially
with the sci-fi setting, space
to look more at, and I won't say the expanded universe in Star Wars, but really more of the lore that's evolved in the current canon since Disney took over with the Clone Wars and the mysticism of the Jedi and the Sith and the things that continue to evolve. That's fantasy. That's not really science fiction. Because when I think of science fiction, I think of military sci-fi like Star Trek or Galaxy Quest. I know it's a spook, but The Expanse or Firefly. Battlestar Galactica, which is a personal favorite of mine. Is military sci-fi and then exploring of space, but in the vein of the big ships and the fighters and the space battles and stuff. That's the science fiction
and the exploration and the actual science happening.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Ooh, I like that. This is my husband, actually. He says, since it's a long time ago, hear me out, medieval fantasy.
Medieval space fantasy.
Could be. I guess it depends on how you define medieval. Long time. You're right. Exactly in that expression, long time ago. So that's how we think of the medieval period. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jedi Knights. Knights and masters and I get it. I'm down with that.
And they're more elegant weapons with their lightsabers.
Yes, exactly.
My hubby has a point.
Yes, I agree.
And he just brought me tea, so
Oh,
bonus points.
Right.
And so Ryan says, make it so. And Picard is his favorite captain.
Excellent. Well, I mean, he always kept a cool head, but Kirk could talk a computer to death. And not until we got to lower decks did we find another group of crew that could really pull that off. But yeah.
And then Charlie, you're already getting an invitation to join Ryan on his podcast, Nerd Culture. He says, let's geek out on Star Trek and Star Wars. I highly recommend you take him up on that. Ryan's awesome.
I will do that.
And I had some very long nerdy chats with Ryan.
They'll flow right back in the opposite direction. I said with 4 shows, we have a lot of content holes to fill. So we'd love to have new people on.
I'm going to get you two connected on Facebook because I think that you would be good friends.
Yes, you're going to bond very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Ryan became a Star Trek fan during the lockdown, and he's excited to learn more because he grew up on Star Wars.
Nice.
Actually, weirdly, I grew up more watching Star Trek growing up because of the reruns in the 80s and stuff. Right. And then my brothers and I rediscovered Star Wars around the time of the special editions.
Oh, okay. Late 90s. Got it.
Late 90s. We watched, I was born the year Return of the Jedi came out in theaters. So, I'm the tail end of the Star Wars generation.
Right.
But we had watched it some, but then they rediscovered it. And my brothers, they dove headlong into an Olympic-sized pool of Star Wars.
Wow, gotcha. And that was the time because Star Wars, and I was born in '76, and Empire Strikes Back was my first Star Wars movie in 1980, and my dad took my brother and I. And my only 2 memories of that film I always loved to say was we played rock, paper, scissors as we sat there in our chair because there were no trailers, and all that was on the screen was an out-of-focus white picket fence. Weird things that you remember when you're that young. So I know nothing, but it's always been my favorite Star Wars film. And everything was Star Wars and He-Man and G.I. Joe when I was growing up. Star Trek came later because Star Trek it's not so endemically for kids, though that is changing. Kelly, I've been telling you about Star Trek Prodigy, which is on Nickelodeon. Great Star Trek introduction for kids. But we were all Star Wars when I was a kid because it was the 80s. That's where it was at.
Yeah, it was still hanging on in the 80s because my brother was born in 80. I was born in 83. The 2 younger brothers are mad that they weren't born in a Star Wars year. They're really salty about it.
Aww.
No, man. Come on.
But I mean, they've gotten to meet a lot of the Star Wars actors and everything over the years, and we've gone to the Star Wars celebrations. And I love being at Star Wars celebration because you always see at least one red shirt and the person that's just like, I'm gonna be a Starfleet crew.
Right, exactly. Well, you know what they always say.
Might as well be the red shirt if you're gonna get.
If they have a shootout between a red shirt and a stormtrooper, the stormtrooper's going to miss and the red shirt's going to die anyway.
Accurate.
Yeah. It's going to ping off of something and come back and hit them or something.
Yep.
Exactly.
How did the stormtroopers go from being the clone troopers who had amazing aim, who were deadly as could be, to stormtroopers who literally couldn't hit the broadside of a barn?
That's easy because the stormtroopers aren't clones; they're just ordinary Joes who apparently don't have great training. Where the clones were grown to be warriors.
They got to turn them out. They got to make sure they got enough cannon fodder.
They were shooting at had plot armor.
Oh man, there's nothing more dangerous than plot armor. I mean, look at that. I mean, how did Jyn Erso get out of? Well, I'm sorry, spoiler alert. She didn't get out of that situation, but she got a lot further than she should have.
Yeah,
plot armor.
Yeah, there was a story. There was originally an ending.
Right.
They said that she and Cassian were supposed to live, but that kind of cheapened everybody else's.
Absolutely.
To me.
You don't see a lot of movies where you get a chance to feel very powerfully about a character and their struggles and their motivations, and then to see them all make this great ultimate sacrifice that we all know.
Yeah.
Results in the turn that restores justice to the galaxy. So that's why, Rogue One definitely pushed Return of the Jedi out of my top 3 because my original love was Empire, New Hope, Jedi, and then so Jedi's number 4.
Rogue One just felt like almost like a World War II movie, but in space, because it had like the storming the beach and all of that stuff.
Right.
But it felt like a war movie, like an actual Star Wars movie.
It was
right.
It's one of those I can watch over and over. I just watched it last weekend after finishing Andor, so
Yeah.
And I wore this a couple weeks ago for judging a cosplay contest. So I'm a bit on a Rogue One high at the moment.
I hear you. I have a great Krennic, and I've never worn it out of the house. I've had one picture in it when I first got it.
I'm gonna have to come
and
your
then
way.
it went back in the bin. Yes, please.
I'm gonna have to come up your way, and I'll bring Jen, and you be Krennic.
Yes.
That'll be amazing.
Make it so.
I love it.
Make
All
it
right,
so.
sorry.
We're gonna cross over here.
Cross
We're
the
on a
streams.
tangent.
That is the whole episode theme.
Yeah.
Kelly looks like she wants to rein us back in. We're going a little rogue. We're going a little rogue here.
Well, you are going Rogue One. So yes, we have to say good evening to Garrett and a shout out to Nikki Parker Dunwald on her birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Nikki.
Because last year they were our guest on this time, and it was the day before Nikki's birthday. So, and they'll be our guest in 2 weeks on our Disney trivia.
Disney trivia, my goodness. That sounds
we're about to pit two very big Disney fan couples against each other.
Oh my gosh.
Supersized episode, because I don't think we're gonna.
Well, when you get around to doing some kind of Star Wars, Star Trek combat, you want to do, my wife and I mean, she just takes the cues from me, but I'll do most of the talking. But if it has to be in pairs, we'll make a go of it.
I feel like we should do trivia episodes like every year for our last.
It could be like our wrap up.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I would love it.
It could be our fun little wrap up before the holidays.
Yeah,
I think that's a way to go. Yes.
What's more Christmassy than a trivia battle?
Right.
Sounds amazing.
I mean, I almost put the Christmas tree behind me in the video tonight and was going to make a horrible joke about the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, I literally.
It's a holiday special. It's not a holiday special.
Because it did air on Thanksgiving time, but yes.
Yes. I was going to be that person, but I feel like my brothers would disown me if I mentioned, like.
I've owned a copy of that for about 10 years. I got it at Wizard World Chicago probably about 2010, so it's a DVD. It's a recording from a station in Baltimore with the commercials, which is the only way to watch it. When my wife April and I got married, which was almost 10 years ago, I did make her and my son watch it, and it was never again. I tested the waters a couple of weeks ago, and I said, yeah, I think I'm going to put it on. She says, I'm going to go upstairs and work in my office. And then I was watching it by myself.
Work is better than the holiday special, yes.
Work is better than the holiday.
She was like, if you want the marriage to last, we will not watch that together ever again.
And never the twain shall meet. No,
the holiday special is trying to expunge that from history, and it is not working.
I have a coworker who is a big Star Wars fan who had never heard of the holiday special.
How have you never heard of it? At least
I don't know. I mean, but I told him about it.
YouTube. Yeah,
and to be fair, I told him how terrible it was, and he was like, "I'm gonna go home and watch it." I'm like, I'm excited to hear your.
Are you?
And then I went home and told my husband that I did that. He's like, why did you do that? That was mean. He's like, why didn't you stop him? I'm like, because I think it's funny.
because it's a truth that must be known. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
If you're even remotely a Star Wars fan, you have to go through that gauntlet once.
Yes.
It is. It's like putting.
It's never going to disappear.
That's why he can't get it back. You put something else into the universe, it exists. And it has a life of its own. It cannot be destroyed. Plus, it's on YouTube. Nothing ever gets off YouTube.
And
the internet exists.
To me, this coworker does still talk to me, so I get
right. But he probably walks by you and he's like.
I was about to say, having Star Wars friends that you introduce to the holiday special can almost ruin friendships like playing Mario Kart. So
yeah, right.
You just don't really do it.
Yep.
Board games of any kind, right? Like, like Monopoly or Trivial Pursuit,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do not play Monopoly with people if you want to keep your relationship.
Ever speak to them again.
You play that game with people you don't like.
Yeah, right. Ooh, so that when there's a rage quit, you can just be like, and I was right.
Okay, now I want to play Monopoly with all my frenemies.
Oh, yes, exactly. Oh, and if you do it virtually, your rage quit is you just slam the laptop shut.
Dang. I've got a list of people I would virtually destroy in Monopoly.
The ish list.
Are you on my list?
I hope not. I don't know. I just looked you up.
You, the viewers.
You, the viewer. I was gonna say I just gave you a hookup. We got you. We got a new cosplay on its way to you just today.
You're not on my list, Charlie.
I was gonna say I hope he's not a frenemy if you have invited him to be on our show.
Yeah, right. Oh, is this a setup?
If you're watching the show, you're not on my frenemy list. I love you if you're watching the show.
Me too.
Exactly. I won't destroy you in Monopoly.
Some other game maybe, but not Monopoly.
Yeah, right. Be spared.
Yes. So we have more comments to go through because our people are chatty. And this is really exciting. So Derek says space fantasy like another certain new book. Derek's got a book coming out.
Yes.
And okay, Derek, throw the title up there. It's I'm blanking on the full title. It's The Chronicles of Havera, I want to say. But so Derek Spicer, you can pre-order on Amazon, and it is a space fantasy. It's also got some spicy parts, if you all are into that sort of thing.
It fits with his name.
Spicy space fantasy.
It really does. Spicy space fantasy. Derek, that should be your tagline.
The spice.
That's the only way you advertise it. No other descriptions. Don't tell character names, the setup. Just spicy space fantasy.
All right, Derek, I'm going to make you a book trailer, and that's all it's going to say.
That's it.
Spicy space fantasy.
That's all you need. Sell the sizzle, not the steak. Spicy space fantasy.
I mean, sex sells, y'all. Hopefully, I did not just bring the bots on us.
Oh,
no. Well, you guys know my recent experience with bots, which is why I'm not so active on Facebook anymore, is that a bot destroyed my Facebook account about a month ago.
Awful. Ugh.
It happened on a Saturday morning before a little while before I got up. I woke up, my Facebook was locked out. They said, give us your ID so we can see it's you. By the time it was that night, they said, we can't help you. You're done. I was like,
you're like, what?
15 years of using Facebook. And so, I had to kind of sneak my way back on and have people add me back on, because I run a bunch of different pages for both Starfleet International and for for my podcast network. So it was big crippling. So I'm incognito on Facebook. Shh, you're not gonna find me there. Shh. But I'm more active on Discord, Twitter, and yes. Don't tell Zuck. He'll send his bots to my house. They'll eat it like in the Langoliers. Remember the old Stephen King was thing. They will.
It's very sci-fi.
Definitely.
Yes, exactly.
That's a word.
Yes, sci-fi. Is that with 3 E's and a Y?
Yes.
3 Y's and an E?
Sure.
Something like that? Yeah, okay.
3 E's and a Y.
3 E's and a Y.
So Derek says the Force is magic. Force powers its spells. Dark Lords of the Sith. I mean, yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's definitely more fantasy.
And Garrett says lots of mythology in Star Wars. Lucas was highly influenced by Joseph Campbell.
Right.
Which, if you all are not familiar with Joseph Campbell, he wrote The Hero's Journey, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I cannot think of proper names, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's the big one. That's the big one, yeah. Then in his inspiration from Kurosawa films, says the martial arts.
Of course. Very samurai history in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Derek's an old Republic Star Wars fan. Battles of Sith versus Jedi at their height. His favorite ancient Sith lords. Derek is deep into Star Wars. He's got good taste.
That sounds pretty good. Right.
Aw, we love you. Of course, I'm going to support you, Ryan.
Yes, that's what friends do. Remember?
Yeah. Always.
Yeah, bicentennial babies. Woo! We're old now. We're almost 50.
All right. Okay. The Tales of Havera, Orb of Emancipation.
Ooh, that sounds like Deep Space Nine. The Bajoran orbs. There you go.
It's an epic. It's the first in a trilogy. So if you definitely want to check it out. It's also a big book, so you can use it in a home invasion if you need.
We've been watching a lot of The Walking Dead. You can take out one of those if it's squishy enough. You can take one of the heads right off the big book. I'll bet.
So we've been talking so much Star Trek and Star Wars that Charlie, I haven't asked you yet. How did you get into cosplay?
Oh
Only
my
the halfway
goodness.
mark, do we ask?
Oh my God. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. I do have a cat on the table, so I'll do my best to make sure she goes away. But if she wanders by, hey, you know what? This is like live TV. I love it.
I will want to
Um,
pet the kitty if
I
she walks
love
by.
furry co-stars, okay?
I bet. All right. Well, come over here then. Now she's not going to come over here.
We
Wait,
should
how did
have
I get
a
into
cookie today.
cosplay? Well, let's see. Like every kid out there, many of us, Halloween is the gateway drug, so yeah, I think when I was 2 or 3, and if my mother was here, she'd tell you, my brother and I were Batman and Robin for Halloween, but it was like the felt costumes that mom made. And that lent itself like right around, 83, Andrea, your year when Jedi came out, I think I had Black Luke, and you had the old Kenner lightsaber, the one that was plastic tube that made noises when you swished it. So that was that, and then I think I had my first Superman costume before I had my nice professional one that I have now, because I do a Kingdom Come Superman from time to time. I had when I was maybe 11 or so, but my first Star Trek one, when Star Trek The Next Generation was big, there was Ruby's had just a shirt with the printed com badge and like little cardboard pips, and I was like, woo! That was fun for me too. But again, I was a teenager and I was already enough of a pariah. I was not really gonna be marching around. And back in the 90s, cosplay was not what I don't even think it was a thing at all, to be perfectly honest with you, to my knowledge. So it went away for a long time, and of course, Halloween snuck back here and there. But we ended up starting it when April and I were together, started going to Comic-Cons. You see all the people in the outfits. I met some 501st people, and I kind of leaned that way for a while, but kind of tilted back when I started to see that Star Trek uniforms, they were accessible. Of course, everything comes from China and it's cheap, but it's a gamble. So you've got to kind of find a vendor you like. We've had a vendor that we've liked in the fan club chapter that we've run. We've had our chapter for 3 years. We have a vendor that we're lock stock with, and I refer everybody I talk to that vendor. So yeah, it was probably around the time we really started the chapter, which was a little over 3 years ago, that even though Starfleet International, which is the oldest Star Trek fan club in existence, it's global, it's been around for 50 years, they are not a cosplay organization per se, but our people glommed onto it right away. And I'm a bit of a stickler. I like everything just so. The badge is a certain way, the pips are a certain way. Different people have different ways of approaching it, but I'm very specific. But I don't try to lean on people too hard. I just try to guide them. Like, if you'd like to have what we have, this is how you do it. So in that time, I have about 25 Starfleet uniforms if you put together all the varieties, but also have a variety of Marvel, some DC. Indiana Jones is probably my biggest one. Star Wars, I've got a great Han, I've got a Luke, got that Krennic one that I've never worn anywhere. I should get around to that at some point. But we've been part of cosplay clubs. We're not anymore. We drilled it back to just running our club. So these are the only cosplays that I wear with any kind of regularity. Though I did get to put on Indiana Jones just to pass out Halloween candy on my front porch, which was great because I had a new jacket and a new hat that I never worn out anywhere, and it looks great, especially with that Indiana Jones trailer coming out this week. There's a lot of excitement around that. So
Nice.
So that was my ramble. What was the question again?
Oh, there was an answer in there.
There was, yes. Yeah, there was. You got to dig deep. Go back with your highlighter on the transcript. You'll find it. I promise.
I love it. And also, since we're a little past the halfway point, it's time to do our cosplay catwalk. I don't have a lot of room to do the catwalk. So I'll do my best.
I was kind of talking this over with Andrea, so I'm going to try to turn my screen around so you can see me. I'm going to walk that way. So you just give me the cue.
He's going to actually walk.
I can actually walk, yeah, because I have it in my diary. Yeah, I do. So you just give me the cue and I'll be ready.
All right. Yeah. And I mean, my costume is not that impressive because before I do, I usually start the catwalk just so we don't put you on the spot. But
whatever works for you.
Yeah, to give our viewers the rundown, the costume I was going to wear, I haven't worn in like 5 or 6 years. So I tried it on earlier today and it didn't fit because I'm bigger than I used to be.
We've all
It
been there.
happens.
It's okay.
It happens. So then I decided to take a nap because I was upset. And I woke up 45 minutes before the show and rushed around to look for stuff. And my husband has been on a cleaning kick, which is wonderful. Everything's put away. And so I am Cameron from the Sarah Connor, the Terminator Chronicles.
I love it. It works.
Or insert your favorite 80s or 90s female action sci-fi hero, because they all wore black tank tops and jeans.
There you go.
I love it.
It's a standard uniform. You know what?
It's magnificent. This is a uniform as well. Uniform night. Love it.
Exactly. And you know what? Some days it just happens. That's cosplay.
Yes.
But you're here, and that's what matters.
We're having a good time. We're having a good
Kelly
chat.
a big virtual hug, and we all got you.
Well, and I was extra upset because I'm going to plug this more, but the costume I was going to wear was my Crashdown Cafe uniform, which I was planning to wear next month when I interviewed Jason Bear from Roswell. So now I need to figure out what I'm going to do, what I'm going to wear to interview Jason Bear, because I'm really excited about that. We will talk more about that at the end of the show. But okay, so this is my outfit. I'm too sexy for my plain clothes outfit. Too sexy for my plain clothes outfit. So that's it. But
it's comfy.
It's so comfy. And I actually have wanted to do Cameron from the Sarah Connor Chronicles to go with Crayley's really good Sarah Connor, but I wanted to do the robot, like skin showing through makeup. So maybe I'll.
This is a start.
It'll happen.
This is just the springboard to go into the full costume.
It'll happen. All right. So Andrea or Charlie, which of you wants to go next?
I'll go so that he can
please.
Say the best for last over there.
Andrea, if you insist.
Too sexy for her cosplay. She's too sexy for her cosplay. So sexy it hurts.
This one also gave me drama because I couldn't find my gun holster 2 weeks ago, and I thought I lost it in the fire. And I kind of had a lot of somehow it ended up in a part of the house that wasn't in the fire, but I had seen it in the storage building, and there were a lot of tears and meltdowns in the middle of a half burned down house. So but it survived because this is hand cut real leather. I handmade this holster.
Oh wow.
I was not really wanting to do that again.
You got it.
Great Luke Skywalker, because I have a Yavin 4 with the yellow jacket Luke, but it's The Empire Strikes Back buckle, which is from the Marvel Comics. That was I got it off Etsy. It was not inexpensive, but probably is on par with what you have, but not made by me because I don't make anything. Look at these hands. Good for nothing.
All right. Well, you go, Charlie.
Okay. I'll just stand up. Look at that.
Charlie's too sexy for his cosplay. He's too sexy for his cosplay. So sexy it hurts.
We love it.
Excellent.
Oh, that worked out great. I didn't even have to walk. Perfect.
We love a good little dance to go along with our lovely, terrible song.
Yeah.
I'm a dancer. This is, by the way, would be considered the most current Starfleet uniform from the Picard series, which will be back on the air in February for its third and final season. And after a very rocky second season, everybody's got their fingers crossed. It's also a real swan song to the TNG cast, which did not happen in their last film, Star Trek Nemesis, which was 20 years ago. We tore that down on my podcast a little while ago. It was a train wreck.
I'm behind on all the shows. I need to catch up on a lot of things.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, if you happen to tune in, you just start with season 3, it'll be fine. Because we're just all really hoping it's going to be great. But
that's
Kelly,
all we can
you
hope
can watch
for
it.
as fans.
you've been tuning back into Star Trek lately, and we have something exciting coming up that's Star Trek related. Not that I want to spoil anything.
Oh, yes, I'm excited. So I've been going back and watching Voyager because I have not watched it since I was a kid, since it aired, because it was always on because my dad was a huge Trekkie. He still not was. He still is. And so are we keeping a secret, or are you okay with spoiling it?
I mean, I got no trouble at all. Maybe
All
they'll
right.
help us find the castmates we're missing. You don't know because we're missing.
So we're
out of
planning
them,
a
yeah.
big Voyager photo shoot for C2E2. And Charlie has been kind enough to let me be Janeway, which is really exciting because I loved Janeway when I was younger. I still love Janeway. Janeway is amazing. Like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay. So Janeway was always there when I was a kid in the background as one of the women that I looked up to. And like, yeah, I'm watching almost through season 1 now, and I'm like, okay. So yeah, this character kicks butt. This whole series holds up. Like, it's really good.
Most F. You got it. Yeah. For our C2E2 crew, we have everybody figured out. I'm going to be Chakotay. Probably, I might dye my hair. We'll see what happens. But I am going to do the tattoo stencil. Jen Watson, who's been on your show, she's a mutual friend. 7 of 9.
Yes.
Her guy Scott is the doctor. We've got Harry Kim. My wife April is going to be Belana Torres. We're going to get her the forehead and another uniform. But we don't have a Tuvok and we don't have a Neelix. So Neelix is probably a hard get. But
you never
if
know.
you're out there and you're going to C2E2 and you do either of those characters, hit us up.
Please.
Also, bye,
amazing.
Derek. Derek says, as the Sith of old would say, may the Force make you strong.
Keep it spicy, buddy. Keep it spicy.
Always. That's what Derek does.
So, so hit us up if you have either of those characters, because we need.
It would be amazing to have the whole 8
That would
characters.
be crazy. I'd love that.
It'd be wild.
So much.
And we have a great photographer, Juan, who photographed us back in the fall with our AVX shoot there in Chicagoland. I mean, great stuff.
And he also did my Morticia shoot, if you all saw
That's
that.
right. Oh, it's fantastic.
And if you didn't, you should check out Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, because I'm quite happy with how those photos turned out.
Those were fantastic pictures.
Totally.
I know. I'd been to that location before, but I forgot how amazing that location is. It was one location, but there's so much variety in that one location that we kept walking around. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, Crayley and I were talking, and she's like, it looks like you went to 4 or 5 different places, but all one. So,
Yeah.
Charlie, when you come up to do shoots, we'll have to go to that location also.
I love it. Yes, we talked about doing Indiana Jones and Laura Croft, and then you have Nathan Drake. I mean,
I'm going to make it up there with all of you someday.
Yes, we got to do something. Kind of our outdoor, natural. I don't even know what you would call the theme. Adventurer, probably.
I think
adventurer theme. Yeah.
An adventure theme.
Cool.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I think
is.
that'd be fun. So I will get to planning that. But for now, let's go through our photos. So we have less submissions than usual this week. So you all, I don't know, you were sleeping on this theme, because I know we have a lot of sci-fi.
We know a lot of people that do a lot of sci-fi cosplay, and we didn't. But that's
I
okay.
think
We
the
still
holidays caught people unawares.
But we still
Probably
love
so.
everybody, no matter what.
Yes. So first of all, speaking of Crayley, Sarah Connor, this is why I want to do Cameron from the Sarah Connor Chronicles, because Crayley Sarah Connor kicks butt. Like,
dang.
Yes.
Look at that, right?
Trouble.
She literally could kick your butt and shoot you properly. So,
Yeah, that is a real gun in the picture. This was at her property, by the way.
yes.
Right. I was going to say yes.
He wasn't running around with an assault rifle or anything.
This is Ryan as Marty McFly.
Because Back to the Future is, like, a lot of people don't think of it, but it is very science fiction.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, of
a lot
course,
of
time
people
travel
don't-
and the whole note.
Yeah, nobody thinks about it, but it is very sci-fi.
So I will say the time travel rules they use. I don't know. Never mind. We don't have time for this. I take issue with time travel
Rules.
rules used in
What are
most time
rules?
travel films.
Yes.
Right.
All right, and this is Honey Blossom.
And then the one in the bottom corner is their friend, the Avatar Clash, doing kind of a female Han Solo, had their Chewbacca. But yeah, Colleen is a very good friend of mine, the Honey Blossom cosplay, and she's got the droids and the Savage and everything. So she's
Wow.
one of the great people I know at putting together like Goodwill and thrift shop finds and coming up with really cute costumes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a skill too. Like
Colleen, and then my friend Angel, who we have featured in a lot of submissions, Running Wind.
we love
Always
Angel.
good at thrifting things together. Like,
Excellent.
and if you're ever down here, I'm going to get Angel to do a photo shoot for you because Angel is a fantastic photographer as well as cosplayer. So,
I love it.
yes.
Cool.
And now we get to go through Charlie's photos. So
Oh my.
hang on, let me
Tell us about yourself, sir.
Yeah, so as I go through these, if you just want to talk a little about each one.
Oh my goodness. This is from a great shoot that we did in South Haven, Michigan, which is on Lake Michigan, just a couple of months ago. This is my Captain Christopher Pike from Strange New Worlds. Worked very hard. My barber worked very hard on that haircut and the updo. My podcast partner, Kay, who is number one, Commander Una for the same shoot, teased my hair up to be like that because if you see the guy, he's got great volume. So we like that shoot so much. We're actually doing it again in the springtime because we had a lot of people who couldn't make it. So, but that's a great location. Jen and Scott are going to come down for that one again. Just they drive around the lake, come to our side, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. Loved it.
It's a really good shot too.
Yeah, it's a great photo.
Oh my goodness, this one, my uncle Tim, my mom's oldest brother, just moved back to Michigan after 35 years of living on the West Coast. And the first thing he did, he's back in South Haven, my mom's hometown. First thing I did, I said, come out to Grand Rapids Comic-Con where we have a booth like at Chapass, and we're having our annual meeting. And it was on the second level of the DeVos Center, which is where we were having our annual meeting after hours. And he snapped a picture of me on the railing, hanging onto the railing there in my dress uniform. And that's just a picture from his phone, but it's fantastic. And I don't look fat, which is great. I know, but no, this was just, I was waiting for the meeting to start outside the room, and I saw him down there, and he held his phone up, and so I just looked all Captain Lee in my dress uniform. So yeah, that was awesome.
I love it. Speaking of
there's the Star Wars. This was from back in 2019 and an opening for the Rise of Skywalker with a group that April and I used to belong to. I think I've upgraded the shirt since then because that was kind of an Amazon off the rack, but I got more of a official Mandarin collar looking Star Warsy kind of thing. Yes, and then but no, the pants are right off of Amazon. The belt is a cheapie right off of Amazon. The jacket I like, it's pretty accurate, but my code cylinders are the classic, chalk holders that teachers have. And then the boots, I'm very proud of those boots. They go across different cosplays. Those are, honest to God, World War II Austrian Army boots that I got off of it. About $100. And they go with, I use them with several of the Star Trek uniforms over the years, the Star Trek Discovery, both versions of that, I use that. And they work with basically every Star Wars cosplay that I have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just a good pair of tall black boots go with so many costumes.
You got it. Exactly. Yeah. Ta-da, super dude. Should have cut it up a little bit higher so you don't see my super gut. But no, this is my Kingdom Come Superman, and this was coming off of my dyeing my hair, which was not very popular with anybody, not even me really. But this was at a shoot here in Grand Rapids in 2020. In October of 2020, it was about 40 degrees that day, but it was when when people were getting just comfortable enough during COVID to be outside and be around each other. Nobody got sick that weekend. But man, it was cold, and yeah, I was wearing a long sleeve blue compression tee under that and still freezing. But I loved it. Yeah, that was taken by my old friend Miranda Sniff. That. So yeah, loved it. But again, cut a little higher so that you don't see the super gut. Just keep doing those sit-ups, Superman. Henry Walton Jones Jr. This was a fun one. This was in my backyard. My backyard does not look like that.
Wow.
But this was during COVID, and my old friend Stephanie, who was part of a cosplay group, used to want to put this together. This was an assembly, just an assembly of bits from Amazon, because that's what we were all doing during COVID, was buying stuff off of Amazon. I actually, the idol was something I bought for a bank I bought for my son when he was a kid. When the last Indiana Jones movie was out in 2008, that was available. The belt is a regular belt. The gun belt is a regular belt. The gun holster was something a little special I managed to match. The pistol is 3D printed. The jacket was kind of a cheapo leather jacket, which I've since replaced with a much nicer one. And the same thing with the hat. So I love that. I'm looking for. And the bag it's a matte bag. It just was all bits off of Amazon. It was really nothing. Same thing with the shirt. So I'm looking forward to getting more mileage out of the Indiana Jones next summer when the movie comes out. We just got that trailer this week. It looks spectacular. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. If you've not watched the trailer, it looks spectacular. Oh, my creme de la creme.
Yes.
This was right when I dyed my hair, so it looks a lot dark. It's still not dark enough, but this is my portrayal of Commander William Thomas Riker, season 1 jumpsuit of Star Trek: The Next Generation. This is from Kazarmart, which is the vendor that we prefer in our fan club chapter, the USS Grand Petoskey. I've referred many people, including Kelly, to this vendor for this full-length jumpsuit. The pips came from a vendor that I work with on Etsy. Same thing with the badge. I believe he made both of them. This picture was taken by Forest Edge Photography, it's a husband and wife duo out of the Ann Arbor area in Michigan. And this was in an orchard in the Ann Arbor area. And this was probably at my thinnest, trying to stay at this length. But this picture has actually been used in promo art for the International Fan Club. They used it in some advertising. Apparently, it was such a big deal, and I've won 1 or 2 cosplay contests with it. So
nice.
Yes, but no,
still from an episode. It really does.
Yeah.
And you know what? And thank you. And as you would expect, a one-piece jumpsuit is phenomenally uncomfortable, which is why it always looks best in a photograph. Which is why a couple of seasons of Next Generation went by and they got rid of these because cats wouldn't wear them anymore, because they were all spandex and they were all a size too small to keep them taut. Yeah, and even though everybody was in good shape back then, it was really not very comfortable.
As somebody who's done a lot of superhero suits, I understand this full spandex suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is actually from a shoot also in the Ann Arbor area. That's the summer before the fall, where you saw the last photograph. It was fantastically hot that day, but this is a uniform not very different than the one I'm wearing right now. A Starfleet uniform from the Next Generation era from Picard. Same thing, Cosmart is the vendor, and the pips and the badge came from my friend Jeremy on Etsy by Forest Edge under a bridge. You know, look out for the trolls. I don't have a phaser. Hopefully, a good thing there were no trolls.
Yeah, those are some good shots. Like,
very good shots.
Yeah, no, I look forward to getting more. Like I said, our Voyager shoot coming up, and the other one I was telling you about in South Haven. So I just and I love it. You know, my the shoot that Kelly and I did back in September in Illinois was my first suit up as Captain America. I have the Winter Soldier with the one with the blue shield that I got to break out for the first time. That was really great.
yes.
I said I'm going to come up to there and we'll do Captain Twins. I'll be Captain Carter and you can be Captain.
Yes, let's do that.
Any chance I can put on my Captain Carter suit? I've had to actually slow down on her because I made it in March and that thing is already getting some wear on.
Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, that was the first. I had owned that one, but I had not had a chance to get out and wear it anywhere. So that was a big thrill for me. I love that. So, and having the helmet on means that
shield.
Don't have to worry about the hair. So yes, shield's great.
There's something about it when you pick up that shield, you actually just like feel
right
like the character.
puff out your chest a little bit and just feel a little.
I can't wait because my brother bought a motorcycle earlier this year that is like the very vintagey looking English motorcycle from. So he's like, "You want to borrow it
Wow.
for pictures?" I'm like, "Yes, only pictures because I'm not riding it anywhere."
Want to be
He has a
near somebody
motorcycle
right now. Yeah,
license. We don't want my very clumsy self riding the motorcycle, but pictures,
Right.
great.
Yeah, we like you intact. So
I'm
Yes.
too clumsy
All
to
in
even
one
think
piece.
about driving a motorcycle. I'll leave that to my brother.
yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm
Hear
not
that.
graceful. I say the princess costumes are just wishful thinking because I'm not
You're right.
graceful.
Same.
It's easy to pull things off in photographs when we're not moving,
Yes, and sometimes
and all
not,
the
because some of
all the
those
bits can be
pictures-
sucked in. Fix the shirt, you know.
But honestly, some of those pictures, the most effortless looking pictures, are the hardest poses to hold.
Yes.
You're like, over
Right.
there, like, please take this picture because I cannot do this.
Yep.
And then, like,
then
all
you're
the battle
sore the
poses
next
are-
day,
Right.
and you're like, "Why am I sore?" Oh,
Not a dancer.
why.
I'm not an athlete. My body is not accustomed to that stuff.
Yeah, right. Holding the poses. Ooh. Yeah, I remember wearing that one piece suit, and even though I had a compression wear underneath, I wouldn't say it was still getting out of it. It's like getting out of the boots. Just
Yeah.
relief.
Yep.
I've peeled that pleather suit off and just heard the suction. It's really attractive, y'all. All those people that want a cosplay girl, no.
Yeah.
You just want
No,
one
you
to
don't.
see the
No, you
pictures. You don't want that
It-
sweaty girl peeling pleather off of her body after 10 hours. It's
When it
not
gets a little,
sexy, y'all.
it gets a little
It's
too
not.
real.
it's
Stay
not,
back
it's not
there in
attractive.
fantasy land.
Yeah,
Also, like the
enjoy
story I
enjoy
always
pictures.
tell, having a cosplay girl means she's gonna put a wig on a stand in the shower and forget to
And
tell
scare
you, and then you're gonna walk in there and think you're in a horror movie.
Yeah. Or when you see your,
like my
your
husband
girl
is
do the
adding,
wig
or
snatch.
the next time I did it, I did tell my husband, and he still forgot.
Yeah,
and walked
I used
in
to scare
there
my
and
brothers.
freaked out.
Yeah, my brothers used to get scared when we all were still at home and I was styling wigs in the bathroom.
Oh,
Or
boy.
my dress form, they would forget my dress form had something on it and walk into a dark room and think there was a ghost in the house.
Here comes Annabelle. Watch out.
It's a freak show, okay? It's a freak
Yeah.
show.
I said, and then when you see us pull off the wig and you got like that impression in your head from the wig cap, and it's really not all that attractive, y'all.
Nope.
We had some friends some close friends of ours walking their dog by back in the fall. And I had the garage door open, and we have a couple of mannequins that we use at shows in the back. And he's like, "Yeah, so I see your mannequins there, serial killer."
Yeah.
Those are for shows. You know those are for shows, right? That's why they're in the garage.
You're like, I swear it's very innocent.
Right. It's purely professional.
Yes. Yeah, that's the joys of knowing a cosplayer.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's never boring. It's never boring. I will say that.
Very much so. I agree.
So we are at the hour. So we like to end off the show with asking our guests if they have any advice. So Charlie, do you have any advice for new cosplayers, people who are new to cosplay?
Golly, I would. Oh God, now I'm taking up the whole screen. Ah!
It's just you, sir.
You know what? Never be afraid to take things in cycles. You know, if I love Indiana Jones, but the first jacket I got is crappy. I'm like, oh, that looks terrible. Save your money, get another one. Hat doesn't look great. Save your money, get another one. Talk to you bump into somebody else at a con who's got the same outfit. Oh my God, where'd you get that blaster? Where'd you get those boots from? You know, learn. You know, if you're a Star Trek cosplayer, you're listening to the sound of my voice. Guess what? That's all you need to know. You're talking to the guy. I know where that. You know, I sound like your drug dealer. I know where the good stuff is. The first one is not free. I'm not gonna pay for it, but I will. I am very happy to help because I would rather see one great Starfleet uniform than 10 lousy ones, because there's always a place to find the rubies with the printed on com badge and the cardboard pips that I had when I was 17. But uniforms like this, inexpensive, bits and pieces inexpensive. relatively speaking, especially if you're, like I've got a Stormtrooper armor that's $1,500. This right here may be $115 when you put it all together. And pants too, and boots and different stuff. But I'm always happy to help people out. People were definitely there to help me out kind of when I was getting my start. But it's all about having a good time. And ultimately, even if you have a jerk like me who's like, well, I don't think you're this or blah, 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 you don't have to pay any attention to that. If you're having fun, if you feel good doing it, it's enjoyable, you're making friends. It's supposed to be about fun. Have fun doing it. That's all there is to it.
I love it.
Very much. I do like the whole ask people. Don't be scared to
Right.
ask somebody who is in something, because more than likely we've been in the same place, and just because you see somebody that's done this for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, they'll most likely answer you.
Right.
And be willing to help you. And I like your whole invest in the good pieces, because they last longer. So even if it seems like it's going to cost more, in the long run, it's going to cost you less because you're not constantly buying a new version of the same thing over and over again.
And you feel good about, like I said, I wish I hadn't waited so long to get that Indiana Jones jacket, because I put it on, but I don't know when I'll put it on again, because I'm not part of a group anymore. I kind of burned out on cosplay group dynamics and drama. I was just kind of done with it. So April and I were fond of saying we control the drama by being in charge and outlawing it. That's our experience with cosplay groups. Doesn't mean that that's everybody's experience. It's just
it happens on and off. So
yeah,
I understand it.
Like
the only cosplay
means you have to deal with more drama.
The only cosplay group I'm involved in is a charity group, so there's very rarely any drama there.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, one of the ones that we were was a charity group as well, and I couldn't even believe how much drama there was.
Thankfully, ours is a little local group that was created by a local cosplayer, and it's just it's been a fantastic experience. Unlike some people I've heard. So.
Yeah, true.
It actually revitalized my love of cosplay when I joined them, because I was getting into a rut.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, good.
So,
I like being a free agent, like doing the thing that Kelly and I did. That's awesome. Thinking about connecting with you and with Crayley and just being. You know what I mean? And then
the cosplay friends.
Yes.
Yeah, if you have those friends, you don't need to be in an official group. You just go, hey, I've got this costume. You want to be in a picture with me? It'll be great.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm feeling about it these days, for sure.
Finding your people makes this hobby. It so does.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an official thing. Just find the people you enjoy doing this with and do it with them when you can.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Mm-hmm. So, Charlie, where can we find you?
Oh my goodness! Well, as I said, I'm a little down on Facebook these days.
Yeah,
I don't exist. I'm behind a curtain, but I'm still on Twitter while that's a thing. Hopefully, it is. You can find me out there. Our fan club chapter of the International Star Trek Fan Club is called the USS Grand Petoskey. You can find it at that website. We are one of the biggest chapters of the organization in the world, which we're always super proud of. We're here in West Michigan, but we're happy to help people no matter where you are. If you want to learn about the chapter, I'm actually also the regional coordinator of Michigan and Eastern Canada in Region 13. If you are hearing my voice, you're somewhere in the world, want to be part of a fan club chapter, reach out to me. I will help you make a connection. We have a great Discord server for Secret Friends Unite and for the Grand Petoskey. Secret Friends Unite is a podcast network I run, co-admin with two great buddies of mine and some other contributors. You can find us at that website. We have those 4 great shows that I told you about. Getting ready to launch a Patreon with additional content and other options into 2023. We did an interview with Doug Jones yesterday, the actor.
Really? I'm kind of jealous now.
That we're very excited to share, but that's going to be a Patreon segment. Yeah, one of our crew members is a very close friend of his, and made that happen.
Cool.
So there are amazing things on the horizon for Secret Friends in 2023. And so join us. Kelly is a contributor. Andrea, if that's ever something that would interest you, let us know.
Yes.
We would love to make it happen. We love it. It's a good time. We're having a good time.
I love everybody's podcasts crossing over with each other and just sharing the love of the nerd culture.
Me
Yes, indeed.
too.
That's where it's at.
So, Andrea, where can people find you?
Mostly Media Rice on Instagram, but also anything Cosplay Cafe related, you'll find me there. We've got our link tree that's got me and Kelly and Krayley and then them together. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
And that's
And Kelly.
linktree.com/cosplay cafe podcast, I think.
I think it's the past one. We always forget. We're really smart, y'all. Really smart.
Google helps. Google always helps.
Google.
I know our Instagram has it in its bio page.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up because now this is good.
Do we not have it in our banners? Do we not have it? I thought we used to have it in the little.
It's Cosplay Cafe podcast. It's been a long week. It was a long day.
I'm a retail manager at Christmas, y'all. It's okay.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Everyone, Andrea deserves all the virtual hugs.
I
on either side of the screen. Long arms.
Look, I'm a store manager 5 days a week, closing in the busiest Target in the entire city of Memphis. Actually,
honey,
we did the highest sales on Black Friday of everybody in our group. So that's 300 something stores.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, we did almost $700,000 in sales in one day. And I was one of the managers in the building on that day. So.
Well, I do love Target. I will tell you that much.
I've been there for 14 years. That's been my job for 14 years. So 15th Christmas there. I'm a little worn out, guys, and I still have a month to go in the holiday season.
Please be kind to your retail workers this time of year. And
I'm sorry.
All year, but especially this time of year.
I've been called everything but my name during the holidays, so
that's not my name. That's not my name.
But you know what? I still have a job, and I pay my bills with it every day, even if they're rude to me. So
that's true.
Someday, maybe cosplay will become my job, but until then, Target pays my bills and my insurance.
Yes, and if you all want to make that happen, if you want to make cosplay and podcasting Andrea's job, contribute at buymeacoffee.com/cerealboxpod. Because you know what? We got to get Andrea out of Target.
Hey, I also have a separate coffee link in my own personal link tree. So,
yeah.
You were looking down. You missed the cat. Oh, Andrea, you missed the cat. Oh, no. Now she's gone. Oh, well.
So you all can find me at kellygetner.com. KELLYGUENTNER.com. Or on Cosplay Cafe stuff, also on Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. And then what I mentioned before, I'm going to talk about briefly, the Multiverse Fundraiser is coming up next month. If you don't know what that is, you haven't been paying attention to our shows because we've been plugging it everywhere. So the Multiverse Fundraiser is our free virtual con that is raising money for a good cause. And I'm going to roll the ad to give you more information because we have a really stacked celebrity lineup. I'm really excited. Amazing. So before I roll this ad, just want to say, Charlie, thank you for joining us. And
thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for watching. So, and please check out the Multiverse Fundraiser and also donate. Donation links already active.
Yes. The Multiverse Fundraiser is a virtual fandom jamboree and a charity fundraiser all rolled into one package. We're not just raising funds for a good cause, we're raising fun. Our 2023 event will be supporting the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, which exists to spread awareness of aortic health and prevent unnecessary suffering through genetic research, widespread education, and radical advocacy. Our fundraiser combines celebrity panels, fandom-based panels, indie creators, and all of the fun of a virtual con for free. There's a little something for everyone while we support a cause close to our heart. Join us on January 20th through 22nd, along with celebrity guests Amy Yazbek, Jason Bear, Chris Gaucher, Victor Garber, William Catt, Cress Williams, Beth Broderick, Armin Shimmerman, Guy Gilchrist, Carrie Schaefer, Brian Hull, Amy Carrero, Jennifer Cody, and Joyce DeWitt.
Cosplay Cafe is sponsored by whycosplay.com, which is your one-stop shop for quality costumes and cosplay supplies. So click on the link in our show notes to get a 20% off discount. Or not, if you hate saving money. I don't know you. I don't know your life. Clicking on the link does help support our show. So, you know what? Just do the thing. Do the thing.